Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this video I am going to show you how to create a login page using HTML and CSS. Also we'll be including font OSM as well as Google Fonts. We are going to design this step by step, so if you have not subscribed our channel yet, please do subscribe and let's get started. Alright, here in the screen you can see we have font OSM. It is downloaded, so I'll be adding this link in the description below, so you can directly download this font OSM and you can use it. And also we have images directory. Inside images we have only one background image for now. Here this is the background image, and we have created one .html file. Inside HTML file we'll have the HTML code, and inside style.css we'll have all CSS content. Okay, let's start from the HTML. Okay, let's update the title. Let's wrap this whole section first. I'm going to create one class, login dash screen. Okay, this login screen will contain this background image, and again we need to wrap this login section. I'm going to give a class name wrap dash login. Inside this wrap dash login we will have login, username, password, buttons and other fields. For that we can use login screen class, and here we can use background. Here we'll have a URL. It is inside the images and bg-image.jpg, and it will be not repeat, it will not be repeated, and it will be at the center. Let's implement the universal selector. It is string, or we'll be defining margin 0, padding 0, and we'll have a box size. It will be border hyphen box. Okay, after adding the CSS we need to import the CSS file. Here link href, and it will be style.css. relation will be style sheet. Alright, background image has been implemented. Now let's put this login in the center. For that, let's go back to the CSS file. Here we can do justify content center. It is now center, and now we need to put vertically center. For that, align items center. Alright, now it is already in center. Now let's get back to the HTML file. Here we have wrap-login, so let's update for this. In wrap-login section it will have a background color white and border radius, so let's implement that. Here let's give the width of this wrap login section. It will be 500 pixel. Background color would be white. Border radius I'm giving 10 pixel. Okay, and you can give a padding 55 pixel. Alright, now we have given the CSS for the wrap-login also, and let's give the style for this login form title. For this, let's give the font size. I'm giving 40 pixel. Let's save it. Now let's give the font weight. I'm giving 700 to make it bold, and here we can give the color also. Color I'm giving 333, and you can write text align to put it in the center, and you can give text align center. Text align center is not implemented, so let's do display block. It will take a whole width, then it will center. And now let's give the padding bottom. Alright, here we can see our design. It looks quite similar to this design. Okay, but the font is quite different, so let's implement the font. I'm going to use the Google Fonts, so let's go to the Google Fonts first. Here you can search whatever you want to use. I'm going to use Poppins, so you can select this style. I'll be selecting this one. After this I'll be selecting 500 font weight, and another is for the bold I'll be selecting 700. Now let's copy this and let's add this inside the head tag. Alright, now let's copy this font family. Let's close this now, and let's implement this font inside the title. Okay, here you can see now we have the different font style. Alright, now let's add the input field over here. For input field, you can see here in the input section we'll have username, input field, and the border, and also we'll have the one icon. Okay, let's wrap this first, then we can use label for this username and input type for this field, and we can use the border bottom. Let's give the class wrap input. Inside this wrap input we can define a username, label, and class will be label dash input. Here we can use username. Okay, and we'll have an input field where class will be input, type will be text, you can give name, username, and placeholder it will be type your username. Alright, now for this icon we can use one span tag. For that span dot we can give the class name like input hyphen username. Alright, let's implement for this password as well. Just copy this. This will be the wrap input will be the same, and label input will be also the same, just to change the value. Password type will be text, and name will be password, and here you can add password, and you can give different class for this. Alright, let's refresh this. Here we have the username and password. Let's manage this with CSS. First let's manage this wrapping section, that is wrap dash input. Alright, now let's manage this username and the password. These are the label. Okay, so we have given label input as a class. For that let's use the font will be same, and we can give the font weight. Font weight will be 500. Okay, little bit bold, and now we can give the font size how much you want. You can give, I'm giving 14 pixel, is quite smaller. Let's give it 16 pixel. Alright, this looks nice. Now let's give the padding left, let's give 7 pixel. It will move little bit right side. Okay, it's done. Alright, now let's add the icon to the left side of this input field. For that let's give the one class. Here input username, we can use this one. Okay, let's use this one, and let's give one common CSS for the both. I'm going to use input icon for the common CSS. It will be common for both. Okay, now let's add the icon for the username and the password. Here in the image we can see for the username we have one user icon, and for the password we have unlock icon. We'll add this icon from the font OSM. So before implementing this, we need to download the font OSM. Here I have already downloaded it, so I'll show you how to download it and import it in header section. So let's go to the browser and search for the font OSM 4, and you can click on this link, and here you can click on get started. Here you can use the latest version or the OSM font OSM 4. I'm using font OSM 4 for now, so let's click on this. You can see the download option. Here I have already downloaded and extracted, and I have already imported it inside the project directory. So here you can see, and to implement this you need to add this link. Okay, here you can see link relation style sheet href. Here you need to provide the path, full path for this font awesome.min.css. it is inside the font awesome, and here we have the font awesome.min.css. you need to import it in header sections. Here you can see I have font awesome 4.7.0. it's a folder directory, and css, inside css we have font awesome.min.css. okay, now we can implement the font awesome. So let's save this and let's get back to the css file. Here we are going to give the icon for the input field user. It is for this sections, okay, this user section, and for that we need to define the font family first. Font family will be font awesome, and we need to give the content. Here this is the content, this is the Unicode that we get from here. Here in the icon sections, if you search for the user, here you can select any one, and I'm going to use this one. And here you have the options to implement this inside the HTML itself, or if you want to use inside the CSS, then you need to copy this Unicode, and I have implemented this Unicode over here. Okay, now let's add other CSS. Let's get back to this, and here you can save it, and here you can see we have the icon. Now let's change its color, size, and the position. Let's change the color and size, position, and height width. Okay, alright, now it's managed. Okay, now similarly let's add the icon for the password. Copy this one and paste it here. Now we'll have input hyphen password as a class, and here we need to change the content. Let's get back and search for the icon. Here we can search for the password. Here we can implement this one, unlock alt, and here you can copy this Unicode and paste it here. Now let's save this and see the results over here. Now it's implemented. These CSS are repeatedly used, so let's manage this in different CSS. For that we have already created a one common CSS, that is input hyphen icon, and let's implement that. And here you can paste everything, and you can remove this also from here. And font awesome also you can implement on common CSS because it is used in both. Now let's remove this also. Okay, now code is also managed now, and we have already implemented the icon. Okay, now let's add this forget password section. For that, let's get back to the HTML. Okay, now let's create a one div for the forget password section. Class will be empty for now. Later we'll add, and here we can create a one anchor tag. Okay, here we can type forget password. Okay, now let's save it and view the result. Alright, here we can see forget password. It is positioned to the left side, so let's move it to the right side. For that I'm going to create a one class text hyphen right, and I'm going to add CSS to this class. So let's get back to the style.css. Here we can use text hyphen right. It will be text align right side. Okay, let's save this, and here you can see our text is moved to the right side. Okay, now let's manage this style. We are going to add a CSS for anchor tag. Let's add the font family. Once you reload the page, you can see forget password is slowly moving. So it is implemented because of this transaction. Transaction may not support for all browsers, so we need to add a prefix for this to make it supportive for all the browsers. For that, let's duplicate this, and for the Opera we can add O as a prefix, and for the Mozilla Firefox we can add MOZ, and this WebKit will be useful for Chrome. Alright, we have managed the forget password also. So now let's get back to the index.html file, and here now we need to implement the login button. For that, let's create a one section for the button. Okay, here you can see login button. Now let's add the CSS. Okay, now login button is available. Let's manage this gap between the forget password and the login. Let's implement the CSS also. To manage the gap between forget password and login, I'm going to add CSS on forget password section. Here I'll be adding padding top will be 8. To move this forget password, it will be down, and to put the gap between login bottom and the forget password, I'm going to add padding bottom to 30 pixel. So let's use this class. Here you can use padding top. Alright, our login button is also managed now. Okay, now let's implement this social icon section. For that, let's create a one div. Class will be empty for now. Inside this div, I'm going to create one span. Okay, inside this span tag, I'm going to write a text. Okay, let's get back to this screen. Here you can see or sign up using. Okay, this is now available there. Now to add the icon, let's create another div. I'm going to use one class for this to move to the center and the middle. Here we'll have an anchor tag, and inside this tag I'm going to add font awesome icon. Okay, let's go to the font awesome again, and here in the icon section you can search for the icon. Here I'm going to use Facebook first. Here you can see different icon available, so I'm going to use this for now and copy this, and you can paste it here. Here we can see all the required content are available now. Now these things we need to manage with the CSS. Okay, before implementing the CSS, let's add some class over here, because here in the image you can see for the Facebook icon we have the different color, and for the Twitter we have the different color, as well as for the Google we have the different color. So for this case, let's assign different class in it. I'm going to use bg1 for this. Okay, now let's get back to the CSS. First of all, let's manage this. For that, let's add the class before implementing the CSS. Here we need to add some class. Let's give text1 and text center to move it to the center, and padding top 54 let's give, and padding bottom will be 20. Okay, let's save this and let's get back to the style of CSS. Here for the padding and text center we are giving a custom class, because this class can be useful for other design purpose. Okay, now let's give the padding top to the 54 pixel. Okay, now this is quite managed now, so let's manage these icons. For that, let's start putting it into the center and the middle. Let's use the class, and here you can give the display flex, justify content will be center, and all an item will be center. Now let's add another class, login hyphen social hyphen item. Let's add the font size 25 pixel. Similarly color we can give. Alright, they are not visible right now because the color we have given for the icon is white. So let's implement the background for those icons. For the Facebook we have given bg1 class, so background will be different for this. I'm giving a Facebook color. Similarly we can give for the Twitter and Google. Alright, we have also added the social icon. Now let's get back to the design. Here now we need to add this text at the bottom, so let's implement this. For that, let's get back to the HTML file, and here after this div tag, let's create a one div with custom class. Okay, now let's save this and let's see the result over here. Here we have the text available now. So let's implement the CSS now. Alright guys, our login screen is ready, so we can use this screen in any project. And if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe our channel for the upcoming videos. Thank you for watching till now.